If you want to elevate your life, build real confidence, and handle people without constantly feeling emotional or overwhelmed, you have to understand psychology, human nature, and a bit of history. When you start seeing why people behave the way they do, everything changes. You stop taking things so personally. You stop reacting impulsively. You begin observing. And that shift alone builds confidence because awareness creates control. The more self aware you become, the less insecure you feel. You realize your fears, your triggers, your habits. And when you understand other people's patterns too, you're no longer shocked by their behavior. You expect it. That expectation gives you emotional detachment. Instead of thinking, why did they treat me like that? You think, of course they did. That's predictable. That logical lens protects your energy. One of the most talked about books that dives into power dynamics and human behavior is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It's controversial, strategic, and sometimes uncomfortable. The book has even been restricted in certain prisons because it explores influence, manipulation, and strategy in a very direct way. But knowledge itself isn't evil, it's neutral. Like fire, it can warm a house or burn it down. It depends on who's holding it. If you consider yourself someone who wants to level up without becoming toxic, then think of these principles as awareness tools. When you understand power, you're less likely to be controlled by it. Today, I want to break down a few of the ideas from that philosophy and explain how you can apply them in a way that strengthens you, not corrupts you. The first concept is simple but powerful. Never outshine the master. In plain terms, don't make people above you feel threatened. Whether it's a boss, a professor, a senior colleague, or even a dominant friend in a group, people in higher positions often have fragile egos. If you appear overly ambitious or try to outdo them publicly, it can trigger insecurity. And insecure people in power are dangerous. This doesn't mean you shrink yourself. It means you're strategic. You can be brilliant without announcing it every second. You can win without needing applause. Sometimes the smartest move is letting someone else feel superior while you quietly gain access, knowledge, and opportunity. I remember when I worked part-time at a small retail space during school. I wasn't paid much, but I treated it like a training ground. Instead of trying to show off what I knew, I asked customers about their work. I listened. I complimented their achievements genuinely. I stayed curious. One regular customer happened to be connected to a competitive internship program. Because I was respectful and attentive, he recommended me for an interview. I wasn't the loudest person in the room. I was the most observant. That's power. The next principle is to say less than necessary. Most people talk too much. They overshare. They reveal their insecurities. They expose their plans before they're ready. Silence, on the other hand, creates mystery and control. When you speak less, people lean in more. They project onto you. They wonder about you. Think about the most magnetic person you know. They're probably not the one dominating every conversation. They choose their words carefully. They pause. They let silence do some of the work. When you talk endlessly, you increase the chances of saying something you regret. When you speak intentionally, you protect your image. Silence is especially powerful in conflict. If someone tries to provoke you and you respond with calm brevity, you instantly shift the dynamic. You're not easily rattled. You're not desperate to explain yourself. That restraint communicates strength. Another critical idea is guarding your reputation. Your reputation is social currency. It can open doors before you even walk into a room. It can also close them before you get the chance to speak. We often hear advice about not caring what people think. And yes, you shouldn't be controlled by random opinions, but reputation isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about consistency. If you're known as dependable, disciplined, respectful, and discreet, opportunities find you. People feel safe trusting you. On the other hand, if you're known for gossiping, being unreliable, or dramatic, word spreads just as quickly. Reputation is built in small moments, showing up on time, keeping promises, not speaking badly about people who aren't present, dressing in a way that aligns with how you want to be perceived. It's not about being fake. It's about being intentional. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There's also the idea of courting attention. You can't build influence if no one knows you exist. Visibility matters. In business, the best product means nothing if it stays hidden. The same applies to you. You might be talented, intelligent, and capable, but if you isolate yourself completely, the world can't respond to you. Attention is a form of currency in this era, but it has to be controlled attention. There's a difference between being visible and being desperate. Strategic visibility means showcasing your skills, sharing your ideas, networking intentionally, and positioning yourself in rooms that matter. However, there's a paradox. After building attention, you must also understand absence. Scarcity increases value. When you're constantly available, constantly posting, constantly replying within seconds, constantly showing up everywhere, your presence becomes common. Think about public figures who make selective appearances. They show up, make an impression, and leave. That departure creates conversation. It signals demand. Even in personal relationships, constant availability can reduce perceived value. When you maintain your own schedule, your own goals, your own priorities, people respect your time more. I once had a period where I was balancing school, fitness, and a side project. I genuinely only had time to see friends once a week. Instead of weakening those relationships, it strengthened them. We appreciated the time more. There was space to miss each other. Scarcity creates appreciation. Another powerful principle is recreating yourself. Many people feel stuck because they've accepted an identity assigned to them. Maybe you were labeled shy, dramatic, average, awkward, or just the nice one. Over time, you start performing that identity without questioning it. But identity is flexible. You can redesign it. You can decide that from this point forward, you are disciplined, or composed, or bold. That doesn't mean pretending. It means acting in alignment with the version of you that you respect. Reinvention requires courage because people around you will resist it. They prefer the version of you they're used to, but growth always feels uncomfortable at first. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need approval to improve your style, your mindset, your boundaries, or your standards. Finally, enter action with boldness. Hesitation reads as weakness in many situations. When you half commit to a decision, you create doubt not only in others, but in yourself. Boldness doesn't mean recklessness. It means decisiveness. If you decide to pursue a goal, pursue it fully. If you decide to leave a toxic environment, leave it cleanly. If you commit to improving your health, don't negotiate with yourself every week. Confidence is built through evidence. Every time you follow through on something you said you would do, your self-trust increases. Self-trust is the foundation of real confidence. Not compliments, not validation, not likes, proof. When you see yourself taking risks, making progress, and surviving challenges, you begin to believe in your own capability. Understanding power dynamics, silence, reputation, visibility, scarcity, reinvention, and bold action doesn't turn you into a villain. It turns you into someone who is aware. Awareness protects you from manipulation. Awareness helps you navigate social spaces strategically instead of emotionally.